Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you on a journey through the very core of American innovation, venture, and the visionaries behind it, all encapsulated in Tom Nicholas's seminal work, VC and American History. Now, we don't have time to read through the entire book together, although I highly recommend you do that in your own time. But what we can do is dive into the top 10 insights that emerge from this deep exploration of venture capital and its impact on the American economy and global technology. 1. The roots of risk are deep and wide. Nicholas takes us back in time to the whaling industry of the 18th and 19th centuries, which serves as a proto venture capital enterprise. In this era, investors would put money into a whaling voyage, laying the groundwork for the high risk, high reward mentality that is venture capital's hallmark today. The lesson here? The appetite for investment risk taking is no modern phenomenon. It's as American as apple pie, assuming your apple pie can net you 10x returns. 2. From whales to silicon wafers. We think of Silicon Valley as the birthplace of venture capital, but Nicholas reminds us that this financing model evolved over centuries. Originally focused on industries like whaling and textiles, it wasn't until the mid 20th century that venture capital became synonymous with tech. This transition was possible because of a cultural willingness to pivot from hunting the largest mammals on Earth to mining silicon's potential. Adaptable? Flexible? You bet. American venture capitalists are practically yoga masters. 3. The government venture capitalist in a top hat. Believe it or not, Uncle Sam dipped his toes into the VC pool. The U.S. government played a significant, albeit indirect, role in the development of Silicon Valley. How? By being one of the first big buyers of microchips, the government essentially watered the valley in its early days. It turns out that taxpayer dollars can be pretty venture-y when it comes to kicking off technological revolutions. 4. Geeks inherit the earth, or at least the economy. The transition to a new economy where knowledge is the main currency was significantly funded by VC investments. Visionaries like Arthur Rock, who backed titans like Intel and Apple, looked beyond traditional metrics, finding value in the intellectual potential housed in garages and dorm rooms. These geeks, term of endearment, I assure you, heralded the transition from physical to intellectual capital. 5. The right place at the right time matters. Proximity to innovation hubs like Stanford University was crucial. Silicon Valley wasn't just a happenstance location, it was a carefully cultivated ecosystem. Venture capitalists didn't just stumble upon a gold mine, they were prospectors that knew where to dig. It's almost as if they had GPS guiding them to the next big thing, decades before GPS existed. 6. The fail-forward philosophy. Nicholas highlights the uniquely American perspective on failure, a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. In other VC ecosystems like Europe's, failure can be stigmatizing, but in the US, if your startup crashed and burned, it was more of a badge of honor, a sign that you were in the arena, swinging. Or in Silicon Valley terms, failing is just pivoting with extra steps. 7. Money talks, but it also listens. One insight from Nicholas's detailed history is that venture capitalists are known for their talk, a vaunting bouquet of persuasion. But what truly sets successful VCs apart is their ability to listen to the market, to the consumers, to the innovative whispers that signal the next revolution. The best VCs have ears so finely tuned they can hear a startup idea drop in a noisy coffee shop. 8. Diversity, or the lack thereof. VC, and American history doesn't shy away from less celebratory aspects, such as the stark lack of diversity in the VC world. It's been historically dominated by men, and usually white men at that. The tide is beginning to turn, but there's still a long way to go before the venture capital tableau fully reflects the diverse palette of America itself. 9. Regulation and the invisible hand. Government regulation, or sometimes the strategic lack of it, has always played a role in venture capital's success. From reducing capital gains taxes to adapting securities laws, policymakers have been the stagehands behind the curtain of the VC show. It seems that the invisible hand of the market sometimes wears a very visible government issue glove. 10. Cycles of innovation and speculation. Cycles of boom and bust aren't just a Wall Street affliction. They pulse through the heart of venture capital as well. As Nicholas details, VCs thread the needle between clear eyed investment and speculative frenzy. The dot-com bubble is perhaps the most infamous example, but through every cycle, venture capital manages a phoenix like rise, ready to soar on the updrafts of the next big thing. Now, where does all this historical romancing land us? With an understanding that American venture capital is not just about money, it's about a deep seated cultural inclination to dream, dare, and sometimes to stumble, all in the search for progress. It's about a society's willingness to invest in its mavericks, in its tinkerers, in its builders. And in this ongoing narrative, the philosophy of venture capital is woven into the very fabric of the American dream, where success is not guaranteed, but the opportunity to reach for it is celebrated. VC in American history isn't just a chronicle of industry, it's a tapestry of American ingenuity, ambition, and yes, sometimes folly. Tom Nicholas provides us with a periscope into the past and a telescope towards the future, allowing us to glimpse the stars of enterprise that venture capital has navigated by. In a nation founded on the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Nicholas has illuminated how these principles animate the financial veins that pump lifeblood into our most innovative companies. So read the book, wear your geek badge proudly, and remember, every leap towards the future starts with the courage to take that first risky step. And maybe, just maybe, a well-connected venture capitalist cheering you on from the sidelines. With that, I'll leave you with a final thought. As you walk away from this talk and continue through your daily life, whether you're an entrepreneur, an investor, or an interested bystander, take notice of the VC-fueled world around you. The smartphone in your pocket, the AI that suggests your next binge watch, the startups that become household names, they all began as mere ideas, nourished with the waters of venture capital. America's story, in many ways, is the venture capitalist's story, one of vision, vigor, and the unrelenting chase after the often elusive, sometimes quixotic, but always exciting future.